fire in Larimer County is keeping some people out of their homes tonight.
The Pearl Fire started near Crystal Lakes today. It's now burned nearly 140 acres with no containment. 9 News reporter Angeline McCall talked with a couple who decided now was the time to leave.
Well, it's pretty. The wrong kind of pretty, but it is pretty. It's
the people here are used to the beauty of the mountains.
It's pretty with the sun on it, but it's scary.
This kind of sunset is the one.
I would rather have a normal sunset with clouds instead of smoke.
Mike and Karen Frost worry about seeing.
Well, stressful.
Stressful.
Loaded our vehicle up with a lot of stuff.
They've seen the flames and smoke before.
Getting old, you know, we love the mountains.
Yeah, I'm just very unhappy about having to leave again.
The last time they packed up their cabin was during the Cameron Peak fire. This time, the same routine.
Things that you can't replace.
Pictures
and mementos from family that you have up there. And
there's comfort in watching fire crews protecting the place they call home.
Looks like a dipper helicopter.
The place with the beauty they hope is still here when they return.
We're going to miss this place. We hope we're not going to be out of here very long.
The Pearl Fire has now been burning for roughly 9 hours. You can still see that glow, not a whole lot of bright red or orange, which is hopefully a good sign. We do know that a lot of people are heeding this mandatory evacuation as well as the voluntary evacuation. We saw a lot of people with campers, RVs leaving the area and just saying, you know, we know what this is. We've done this before with the Cameron Peak Fire. And for instance, Mike and Karen, they were out of their home for up to 6 weeks during the Cameron Peak Fire. And so, you know, they just hope that they can return home safely, hopefully in a manageable amount of time that's not so long. We did just receive an update from the Larimer County Sheriff's Office that says that this fire began on a private residence and was also human caused. In Larimer County, Angeline McCall, 9 News.
Ugh, you hate to hear that. Human caused.
Yeah.
Right now when it's dry.
What are we looking at tomorrow, Corey, in terms of fire weather?
We have potentially some trouble with the fire. Even if it lays down a little bit overnight, there will flare back up tomorrow as a wave of storms will come through the area, and we could see 60 to 70 mile per hour wind gusts in the area. So even if there is a little bit of fire still remaining, which there certainly will be, that will fire back up tomorrow afternoon. We saw a few gusty winds here right before the sun went down in northern Larimer County, but things are quiet right now. That's good news. It'll help that fire sit down overnight. Here's your night here in Denver. Clear skies, looking at a low of about 57 degrees. So the weather impact headlines, we're tracking a stormy Tuesday, that storm front I was talking about creating winds tomorrow, a weekend storm bringing rain on Saturday, and a real fall pattern shows up by the weekend.
New tonight, a 14-year-old is safe after police say she was kidnapped outside of her home in Aurora. Police say 3 people forced the teenage girl into another apartment in the same complex where she lived on Potomac Street near 225 and East 6th. This happened yesterday morning. She was able to get away, find her family, who called police. Officers arrested 37-year-old John Balestrini Ferrer. He is facing charges including kidnapping and groping. Aurora police say there is no evidence he is linked to the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua. 19 years ago, Michelle Vanck disappeared when she was hiking up Mount of the Holy Cross. Today, her family said thank you to the team who helped find items that they believe belonged to her.
This discovery happened last week thanks to a team that took a new approach. 9 News reporter Kelly Rinke's along with that update.
Kyle and Kim, 19 years ago, Michelle Vanck went on a hike with a family friend. They separated near the summit and nobody ever saw her again. All of that had been found before it was just her boot. A new search effort led by women may have found the biggest clues yet.
We quite literally nearly traced her steps.
A group of women climbed a mountain to help find clues of a mom who went missing 19 years earlier. Michelle Vanck was 35 when she disappeared hiking up Mount of the Holy Cross.
It was really important to us to have a women's perspective at the top of the mountain, which had not been done before.
Vail Mountain Rescue Group tried something different after nearly 2 decades of few answers.
Our president, Scott Beebe, had a dream last year that he thought Michelle's remains or soul did not want to be found by a male.
Emily Brown and other women spent hundreds of hours this year to try to find signs of Michelle. Only her boot had been found until now. Last week, their renewed search discovered 2 mittens, a small backpack, hiking poles, and a blue hat, all believed to be Michelle's.
I was like, this looks like everything she was wearing in the photo. It was just kind of surreal. It was really neat to put, like, you know, our heads together as a team of women and put ourselves in Michelle's shoes.
The group joined a video chat to answer questions from the community.
I was hoping to thank the ladies.
Then a thank you from Michelle's family.
This is Michelle's sister-in-law, and we are overwhelmed with joy.
You know, we know Mom wanted to be found by a group of all women. Like, it means the world.
A few thank yous reminded a team of why they continued searching all those years.
Our family is super thrilled, and thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
You know, thank you for saying that. Yeah, you've been in my thoughts for years.
So the items they found will go through forensic testing to confirm that they do belong to Michelle. The sheriff's office is not disclosing where those items were found out of respect for her memory and future searches. Kelly Rinke, 9 News.
On the 8th day of testimony in the King Super shooting trial, jurors heard from a psychologist who argued that the gunman was sane at the time of the shooting. The man who admitted to killing 10 people in March of 2021 pleaded not guilty by reason of insanity. For prosecutors to prove his sanity, they'll need to do two things: show that he knew right from wrong and prove that he acted with intent. Today, prosecutors played clips from a videotaped interview of him by a psychologist. A different psychologist who also interviewed the shooter testified.
That there's nothing particularly delusional about them. There's nothing about voices associated with his actions, especially once the shooting begins. So it makes me feel like we didn't miss anything.
The prosecution wrapped up its case this afternoon after calling 24 witnesses. Defense attorneys then called their first witness, a psychiatrist at the state hospital where they treated the shooter. Testimony is scheduled to resume tomorrow.
Newly released body camera video shows the moment a Colorado state trooper was ambushed on a highway in Adams County. Corporal Ty Simcox was sitting in his patrol vehicle in the median of Highway 36 near Federal, September 7th. That's when a black truck pulled up beside him, and CSP says Victor de Santiago opened fire. Simcox was hit in the arm. He got out of his truck and he fired back, killing de Santiago. Other law enforcement officers and Good Samaritans pulled up within minutes. One even helped Simcox with a tourniquet. CSP says the gunman's motive remains unclear.
I believe, based on current information, that Corporal Simcox was a target of opportunity. I think this shooter saw a patrol car, and that's the one he decided to take shots at.
Simcox was hospitalized and released. He is expected to make a full recovery.
All of a sudden, we heard shots being fired in the air, and I guess probably 4 or 5. And it sounded like bullets, but what do I know about that? But Secret Service knew immediately it was bullets. And they grabbed me.
That was Donald Trump talking about this weekend's assassination plot on X tonight. The man accused in that plot is now facing federal gun charges. 58-year-old Ryan Routh made his first court appearance today. He's accused of hiding in bushes with a semi-automatic rifle less than 500 yards from where Trump was golfing yesterday. This is at Trump's course in West Palm Beach, Florida. A Secret Service agent spotted the gunman and fired at him. The man took off. Witness took a picture of the man and the license plate of the car he left in, and that allowed deputies to track him down quickly and take him into custody.
Oftentimes in law enforcement, we tell citizens to be vigilant and aware of their surroundings. Yesterday, a citizen provided remarkable assistance, which led to the arrest of this subject.
Investigators say that Routh did not fire any shots, and the Secret Service says Trump was not in his line of sight at the time of the shooting. Investigators have not released a motive. Routh's back in court for a bond hearing a week from today. Bipartisan congressional task force is already investigating the attempted assassination of Donald Trump at a rally in Butler, Pennsylvania in July. Now, that panel and its lead Democrat, Colorado Representative Jason Crow, is asking for a briefing on this weekend's apparent assassination plot. They want to know if there need to be any changes to Trump's security detail.
What we don't know is whether or not this is a situation where protocols weren't followed, or whether the Secret Service just simply doesn't have the resources and the manpower and the capability that it needs to meet the threats that we're facing right now. So it's an important distinction, and it's one that we're going to be looking into.
Trump campaign asked the Secret Service for increased security today. With it being an election year, it's a busy time for the agency. They have 40 full-time protectees.
Dozens of students in Boulder need to find somewhere to sleep tonight. The city shut down their apartment building today because of code violations. The city says the owners of Ash House, formerly the Marpa House on University Hill, added additional bedrooms without city approval. It's privately owned off-campus housing. The city says about 60 students will temporarily need to find new housing, and at least 13 will need to find permanent new housing. The students found out this afternoon. The city says the building was approved for 16 three-bedroom units, and after inspection, the owners added 15 new bedrooms without permits. No one will be able to live there until the owners get the building back in compliance with code. The property owner says it petitioned the Boulder County District Court to stop the city from enforcing the move-out order. It claims the city did not provide due process.